So I have some conservatives and especially some MAGA people who are upset that I have spoken disparagingly about Elon Musk as a father and that I have pointed out that it is bad to have 4 different baby mamas. To correct the record, I had previously said 5. Apparently it's 4. If Ashley St. Clair is telling the truth, she would be the 4th. I want to be accurate, but it's not good to have 4 baby mamas. It's not good to have 3. It's not good to have 2. It's not good to even have 1 that you have not made an honest woman out of. But be that as it may, I want to speak on this for the final time. It is okay to point out sin. We can love the work that someone is doing while also still acknowledging that it is sinful, that it is bad, that it is selfish to the children to have children with 4 different women. I can hate the sin, but not the sinner, and so can you. As I said yesterday, the greatest privilege that a mother and a father can give to their children is to raise them in a married, loving, respectful home that sets their children up for future success and well-being in a way that no amount of money could possibly emulate. And I have people in my comments saying, how can you say he's a bad dad? His kids are always with him and they've been to more places than you or I will ever go. And first of all, to me, it doesn't seem like his kids are always with him. It seems like X is always with him, but that's not really the point. You know what? You got me. I did not go to the Oval Office when I was 4. I didn't meet a president when I was 4. In fact, I've never been to the Oval Office in my whole life. I've never met a president. And in my whole life, I've only been to like a handful of states and territories outside of the state that I was born and raised in. You got me. Because I grew up in a family that didn't really have a lot of disposable income. We didn't take vacations, and I have not had disposable income as an adult. Haven't been a lot of places. But you know what? I was raised by a mother and a father who remained married and loved each other and loved me, and that has made me wealthier than any of Elon Musk's children. And I would argue that that has made both my father and my mother wealthier than Elon Musk himself. And that is not me downplaying what financial security can give to a person and to a family, because I'm sure that the peace that financial security can bring you is probably immeasurable. But as I said yesterday, the most important things in life, money cannot buy. As long as you're alive, you can always generate more money. It's not necessarily easy, but you can do it. But you cannot generate more time. You cannot get back the years you lost with your children. You cannot buy the respect of the mother of your children or the love from the father of your children. You cannot buy for your children what they would have had and what they would have experienced had you raised them in the home with their mother or with their father. If you are a woman watching this, you can't buy those things. And that doesn't mean that I'm a better person than Elon Musk. I too am a wretched sinner. But just because I have sinned does not mean that we should encourage or overlook that children are being harmed in a situation where they're being raised like this. They are being harmed. They are not being given what they have a right to, which is a right to their mother and their father in the same home, married to each other. And I get that stuff happens. Like I said yesterday, I understand that divorces happen. I understand that single parent homes happen. But when you are 4 baby mamas in, or even just 3, that's not mistakes. That's a pattern. And the problem is you. The problem is you. And God's mandate to not judge, because that's another thing that I have in my comments is, don't judge. His mandate to not judge, I don't believe that it's an encouragement for us to turn a blind eye to sin or pretend like we don't see it because we otherwise like the work that the person is doing or like the person, or we want to own the libs. I am not punishing Elon Musk. I am not condemning him to hell. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a possibility for repentance, but that's another big part of this, repentance. If what this woman is saying is true, if she has had Elon Musk's child, then clearly he has not turned over a leaf. Clearly, it doesn't seem he's repented. Now, to be fair, as far as I know, he's never claimed to be Christian or conservative. But if what she has said is true, he is still apparently going around indiscriminately having children with women who he has no intention of marrying. And that is not a good thing. And nothing of what I've just said here should be remotely controversial if you are, in fact, on the right side of the aisle. And if it's touchy to you, I would urge you to do some self-reflection as opposed to being in my comments, making a straw man about what I've actually said. Okay? Again, We can like the work that someone is doing. We can even like the person themselves, although most of you don't know Elon Musk personally, while still also acknowledging that sin is sin. And at the end of the day, children are not being treated well in this situation. And that's what should be first and foremost in people's mind. It's not the right children for environment for children to be raised in. And that should matter. It's not about how much money he has or whether he can afford it or if our population is in decline. It's about what's best for the children. And children have a right to their mother and to their father. And none of what I've just said, because I know it'll come up, none of what I've just said means that I think the children should have been aborted, because obviously nothing is worse than death. Nothing is worse than killing a child in utero. But I can be happy that abortion didn't happen, while also understanding that this is so far from the ideal situation for children that it hurts. As conservatives, I don't really think that our bar can just be, oh, you know what, at least they didn't kill their children in utero. That's a really, 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 really low bar. So yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be controversial to say that it's bad to have children with 4 different women or even just 3 different women. That shouldn't be controversial, and I have no idea why it is. And hopefully this is my last video on the subject, because I'm tired of talking about it. And for the people who tell me I should stop talking about it, I would have stopped talking about it a long time ago if I hadn't gotten such outrageous responses from all fronts, even people disagreeing with each other. Both sides were saying outrageous things in this situation, and it surprised me. There was outrageous things coming from the Christians, outrageous things coming from the conservatives, outrageous things coming from the right-wingers, outrageous things on all fronts, and just very bizarre responses. We should be able to say, hey, I really like what Elon Musk is doing with the federal government, but also I don't like that he has 4 baby mamas or 3 baby mamas, because that's bad. That's not good. That's not what we need. What's going to save America is more nuclear families, more instances of a man married to his wife and having children, if God blesses them with children in that marriage. It's not just more babies. It's not just more babies. If I told you that I was going to have babies and then drop them off at the nearest fire department, you wouldn't say, hey, you're staving off population decline. At least you didn't abort it. No, you would actually be ashamed of me. You would be embarrassed for me. You would chastise me. And I would argue that this is just like a slight step up from that, because actually children have a right to their mother and to their father. And you shouldn't just be having babies indiscriminately with random men or random women.